with technical session number 17. We're going to be talking about prioritizing and elevating tickets. How do we know what to do first? Second, what is the most critical? When do we know we should hand this off to someone else so that they can take care of it for us? How do we determine what should or should not be handed off, when it hands off, all that kind of fun stuff? So, through this technical session, we're going to be describing the purpose of prioritizing, why we do it, factors to consider when you are prioritizing, and the impact of prioritizing tickets. Given a series of tickets, we're going to have a little handout here. We're going to assign a priority level based on a shared set of criteria. And then we're going to determine when to elevate a ticket to a superior and explain what and how to effectively communicate when you're elevating that ticket. All right. So in your minds, what does it mean to prioritize? When somebody tells you, I need you to, I give you 10 items, prioritize it. What does that mean to you? Something first, okay. JR, if I say prioritize something, what does that indicate to you right off the bat? Order, arrange by importance, level of importance, all good factors. Do we remember how much time a IT professional spends triaging tickets, roughly? About 10 to 15% of their day spent triaging. Just figuring out what order things should go in. Taking that into account, should IT professionals just save that extra 10% of time and do things in the order they come in? Yes, no? We're all neutral on this? Okay, now we're seeing some movements. We shouldn't do it in the order it comes in. Let's see here, Stephanie, can you read for us, please? You are muted, ma'am. Oh, there we go.
Okay. IT professional works for a large company and is working on tackling a ticket submitted last week involving a client who reported her title is not appearing correctly in the email system. Meanwhile, this morning, the entire sales department, which consists of 125 people, is unable to connect to the internet.
Who gets priority? Salespeople. What if this was like the CFO of the company? It's important that their title is in the email. Yes, Golly.
I would say, even though, it's a CFO, it's like the salespeople, like, you're losing money by the time. So you put, like, your resources before, if you're losing money versus the CFO just gotta wait. But that's how I would reply to him, and just say, you can wait or you can lose like a lot of money, like if I do your, so title doesn't have nothing to do with you losing money for the company.
You would hope, but I mean, sometimes it depends on the executive.
But I will give them that choice. I will send an email first and give and have it on documentation and I'll be like, that's your choice.
I've had the unfortunate experience of working under executives that it didn't matter what you had on your plate. If they asked you for something, you did it right then and there. I've had others that were basically like, you know what, do what you got to do, take care of the business first. When you have a moment, I would like to speak with you. So what are some things, you don't have to fill this out, but what are some things that can happen if we're not effectively triaging the tickets?
Are we typing this or are we just typing this? Or
call out. We have a few enough people here. We can just call out.
Oh, okay.
Something gets missed. There we go. Stephen.
Yeah, I'm about to say mixed up of priorities.
Okay. You might take care of a low issue problem ahead of a critical issue. Chaos. Emily went like full tilt on that one. It's just absolute mayhem.
And definitely time management.
Time management, yeah, that becomes a big problem. Sorry, I can't help you. I have to update the Windows version on all the computers. I know the servers are down, but I'm already working on this ticket. I got to get it closed out. Repeated tickets, yeah, that can happen. So lots of bad stuff. So 3 main questions. I gotta stop saying so. 3 main questions to ask when you are triaging a ticket. First, how many people are affected? Second, how important are the services affected to the business? Third, when does this issue need to be resolved? What are our time constraints? Is this something that needs to be resolved in the next hour, or do we have a couple weeks to take care of it? So, how many people affected? How important are the services affected? Is it an inconvenience, or is it preventing people from working? And then what is our time frame to try to get something like this resolved? If none of these categories are severely impacted, this would be a low priority ticket. If at least one of these categories is affected or severely impacted, then it would be a medium priority. And if 2 or more categories severely impacted, it's high priority. Now, the way that this is scaled is going to depend upon the company you work for. IT departments have different ways of categorizing and measuring how to prioritize these tickets, but typically those 3 questions are almost always the same. Yes, Scott.
I got a question. Yeah. So I was gonna say, like in my previous job, like it wasn't necessarily IT, but like let's say for the maintenance and like those the people that work in the building, like the system we had, like I guess you could put the priority yourself if it was like a high priority, low, medium, or safety issues or something. So I wonder, does that like on the IT side would tell the person itself like, oh, this is a high priority, or would you still choose if that's still a high priority or not? Because we sometimes we'll just lie and say, you know, I need my computer fixed is a high priority, like it's something I need right now, and I'll just put that as high priority. But I know it's
so
not
if we have people allowed to put their own priorities on tickets, what do we think would be the likely result of this?
like what I just did, like I just be lying and say it's a
everybody's going to
high
say it's high priority.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, what's the old, you know, it's kind of a, you know, paraphrase of an old statement: when everything is critical, nothing is.
Right.
So if everything is high priority or an emergency, nothing's an emergency. So no, we wouldn't typically want this to be prioritized by the people putting in the tickets, because almost all of them are going to say it's high priority. That's why we would have somebody triaging the tickets as they're coming in, and they would make the determination based upon the 3 questions we asked, where to put these in the categories.
Gotcha.
Rachel, can you start creating groups of about 3 to 4 per group, please?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. We're going to skip this for right now because I think it is directly related to our handout. I'm going to create the handout for everybody. Let me know how many groups you have when you're ready, Rachel.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Professor.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like if those are this also like things that like we just like need to know, so we just, you know, better at a job, or is it like they're gonna ask questions like those on the test?
Well, those 3 questions would come up. Like they may ask you something about which one would be a higher priority.
Okay.
And it comes up in job interviews too, by the way.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I am 6 groups. Okay. So I'm dropping a link in chat. Please open it up. And then where it says file in the upper left, click on file, and then go down to make a copy, and make a copy of this document for yourself. Give me a thumbs up, please, when you are done. Oh, wait, wrong document. Sorry. Where'd it go? There we go. Grab the wrong one. Sorry, new document. Make a copy of this document the same way. Open it up, go to the file in the upper left-hand corner. Under the file menu, go down and click make a copy for yourself. What we're going to do is we're going to be breaking up into some groups, about 6 groups. You have 6 scenarios there. You're going to go through those 6 scenarios, and you're going to prioritize them as high, medium, and low. And then you're going to put them in the order in which they need to be addressed. So you're going to be working in small groups. Please be advised, you will need to defend your answers. So setting them in high, medium, low priority, and the order in which they need to be addressed. Do we all understand the assignment? All right.
Yes, sir.
Tomas, can you tell me what we're doing real quick?
We're opening up the document you just put inside the chat, and we're making a copy of it.
Okay. After that, what are we going to do with said document?
I
Anybody want to help them out?
I didn't know what are we gonna do.
We're gonna go into small groups and
Let me go,
then
Bernard.
categorize the priorities, whether they're high or low. And then we're gonna order the tickets as far as first, second, and third, which
Okay.
order we're gonna take those tickets.
Thank you, Bernard. So, yep, going to categorize them low, medium, high, put them in the order in which they should be tackled, pick a team speaker, and we'll go through these once we get back. We're going to take about, say about 20 minutes, Rachel.
Yeah, that sounds good.
20 minutes gives enough time to argue and get mad at each other. All right.
Are we
Excellent.
gonna do as a group or?
So now elevating tickets. So we talked about triaging. What do we mean by elevating?
Tiers.
Would that
Here's
be transferring?
transferring the ticket. Okay.
Whereas in the tier level, so if you're, it's a, well, at this level, it would raise it to tier 2 or whatever you call your next layer up.
Why would you do something like that?
When it's on, you cannot resolve it with the skill set you were hired for.
Okay, skill set. Golly.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Just elevate it to either you can't fix it, or you don't know how to, or you don't have the resources that you need to, and then you
Okay.
elevate it to a manager or co-worker. That's a different tiers.
Any others?
So help desk to network admin, so forth, you know,
Mhm.
solution architect, so forth.
Is there ever a reason where somebody would know how to do it, but still have to elevate it?
Yep, that's exactly what I mean. You weren't hired for that. That's not your department. You can't do that thing. Or say that you call Comcast and you know you're talking to tech support, but you want something done in billing. You know, something you got to transfer. You know, get it to the right department, right person.
Okay. So authorization,
There you
access.
go. Mhm.
You may know what needs to be done, you just don't have the access to be able to do it. Nice. Can you think of cases where you might instantly elevate a ticket rather than try to solve it yourself first?
Oh yes, depends on you know what is the ticket. You know, if a ticket, if you, I'm trying to come up with a scenario right now, but somebody calls in about something that you're supposed to handle user one-on-one user type issues, but you hear that it's a global issue,
Mhm.
you immediately elevate that. You verify and elevate.
Depending on the how critical it is.
Yeah.
If it's something that's company wide, you may not want your fingerprints on it. Just be like, nope, hand it off to the next person above you.
And some companies do want you to verify, though. They don't want you to just elevate in a little,
Yeah,
hearsay.
absolutely. Makes sense. So in one of these scenarios where you have to elevate, you can't just fire off the ticket and good luck. No, you have to kind of give a little brief synopsis. So briefly, concisely describe what exactly is going on. If you've already attempted solutions, let them know what you've done. Hopefully this has been documented in the notes for the ticket. and why you're elevating it. This is beyond my skill level. I have looked through, I've gone through all the internal and external resources that I could find. Though with time, I could probably solve this. I can't do it in a timely fashion for the customer.
It's so cool that you did the layers this morning, because some companies operate on a layer system. So if
Yep.
it's layer 1, 2, one department, tier 1 handles that. If it's tier 3 and above, it goes up to tier 2.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Knox do that usually.
Okay. So we got a quick matching game.
Oh, my bad. I didn't, I was using my own paste thing.
Apparently it still has the students who were on this last time. Known issue would be a good one, Oscar. Okay, pause recording. There. I think we already did this here. All right. So for each of these scenarios, we're going to kind of read through it. We're going to do it as a whole, like a whole group. Each of these ones, IT professionals will do something good, something not quite as good. And we're going to call out what they did good and what they could do better to improve. And as I am tired, can I get a volunteer to read this particular one?
I can read it.
Go for it, Dean.
Crystal is an IT professional who is working on a client's company cell phone. The client submitted a ticket a week ago, reporting that the phone will not allow her to access email. Each time she opens the email app, the app crashes and returns to the home screen. Crystal does not have a lot of experience with cell phone, and in fact, her company has a special group that works on cell phone issues. But Crystal has decided to try a few basic fixes first. After her first theory doesn't resolve the issues, she reviews closed ticket related to cell phones. This takes her the rest of the day. The following day, she tests a new theory, which also doesn't work. One of her coworkers, Dax, knows a lot about phone, so she decides to ask him for help before elevating the tickets. Dax agrees to work on the phone, and she observes him so she can learn. Dax is able to fix the phone within a couple hours. Crystal is thrilled that she will be able to close the tickets herself, and she has learned a new skill. However, when she gets back to her desk, she learned that the client has submitted a complaint about the length of time it has taken to get her phone fixed. And her supervisor has sent her an email asking why she did not send the phone onto the cell phone groups.
Thank you. What did Crystal do well? Anybody?
I should try to help and go above and beyond.
Tried to help and go above and beyond.
But also, that was a downfall.
How
She
so?
was able to identify. Okay, sorry.
So she got a complaint
Okay.
from that.
Okay. She got a complaint. What were you saying, Greg?
You asked what she did well. I just think she was able to identify the issue well. Yeah, so that's the question you asked. So I'm just answering that part.
Okay. So she showed a growth mindset. Wanted to basically she felt she could solve this problem on her own.
Not her department though.
Not her department, but she did show teamwork. She asked for help from a team member.
So this is the part, he knows the thing well, but that's not his department either, right?
And some companies are notorious for this, like if you're really good at something, they make sure you're not in that department. All right. What were some things that she did poorly?
Seemed like she did not communicate with the client well about, the length of time it possibly could take, and she tried to help, but I don't think she communicated well with the client.
Okay.
Our customer in this case.
She also kind of put her own desire to solve the problem ahead of the needs of the client, right?
True. Yes. She wanted to learn. So yeah, more than a lot of people on the end of the phone don't necessarily want to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, whenever I hear somebody's doing something for the first time, I cringe.
Yeah.
And when it's on me, I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I tried to have a accommodating mindset, but sometimes I'm like, this is gonna be painful.
Yeah.
Okay, what if she would have fixed it? Anyway, would she
Well, she
still
did
would
fix
have
it.
been
It was
faulted?
fixed, but a couple hours. The thing is, it could have still taken a couple hours for another expert, but it wasn't her department.
Yeah.
So if even she fixed it, still she would have been reprimanded.
It was because of how she handled it. It wasn't the fact that she solved it, it was how she did it.
Well, she didn't fix it. Her friend did, her coworker did.
Well, her friend gave her the idea, I thought, and then she was able to fix it.
No, it says Dax worked on it and she just watched.
Okay.
Yeah. But in those cases, though, it's usually somebody like, okay, I don't know if you've been in that environment, but somebody can come sit at your desk and actually work on your ticket, and you shoulder surf or just watch them to learn how it's done. But it's still her ticket on her computer. She didn't escalate it, elevate it, or none of that. She just had him do it at her desk.
Okay. So there's that.
What about takes her the rest of the day?
That's what I thought about too. I was like, okay, so two people are getting paid for this one ticket, the time, if it's billable hours and you have to put it in ConnectWise or something, it doesn't equate, it doesn't work out.
So doesn't it scream time management issue?
Yeah.
The ticket's been sitting there for a week, and it took her a day and a half because she wasn't able to finish it the first day. And then she had her friend Dax work on it the next morning, and Dax took a few hours. So yeah, I mean, on top of it sitting there for a whole week, she's also now delaying it by another day and a half.
Oh, I missed that part too. It was a whole week? Crap. I'm sorry. I started reading it late. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's a big deal because now it's gonna. Okay, what did she not do well? Oh, she should have identified that this ticket was not supposed to be assigned to her immediately and escalate that ticket to the right department.
Okay. So use of time is definitely a big one. What
Didn't
about
address her
just,
ticket on time too.
yeah, what about just the simple premise that it was company policy that she handed off to the phone group?
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why she got that the reprimand at the end.
Yeah. So
Yeah, she could have caused more damage.
that is true. I often say I know enough to be dangerous.
Is format the person's phone and lose all their WhatsApp messages and everything else.
So I got a question.
Yes, Gabi.
So is it like in those type of environment, like if you, let's say, like Greg say you get a ticket like that and it's not supposed to be for you and you're supposed to, elevate it to another person, but let's say you do have the skills and then you end up doing it. So is it better that you just like fix the issue, or is it even though you got the skill, but that's not your department, you should just send it, elevate it anyway? Like you will still get like, reprimanded for something like that.
It would depend, honestly. I mean, if it's something that you should not have authorization to, or if there are regulations in place that only certain people can access certain systems and you do it, then yes, you could still be reprimanded. So I mean, it's kind of one of those independent individual situations.
Okay. So it's not good to show off and like oh,
yeah,
I can
well,
do
I mean,
those things, right?
But it comes down to it depends. Because like there are situations where the fix is really simple, you know how to do it, but based on the regulations or procedures they have in place, only your manager should be allowed to.
Gotcha.
So
thank you.
Good one. I get another volunteer, please.
I'll go.
Go for it, Charlie.
Claude has been an IT professional at his company for 3 weeks when a client approached him furious because his laptop had crashed. I won't be able to do any work until this is fixed, the client yells. Claude takes down all the information he can get from the client about what happened to the laptop and then says he will get to it as soon as possible. The client, unsatisfied with Claude's response, demand that the laptop be taken to the supervisor and dealt with immediately. Claude agreed to do this and the client leaves. When he finds his supervisor, Claude explained how angry the client was during the conversation and goes into great detail about everything the client said. His supervisor looked confused and asked, "Well, what did you try with the laptop?" Claude explained he did not try anything yet, that he brought the laptop directly to the supervisor. Claude's supervisor clearly frustrated says, "If you bring me your work, every time someone get mad at you, I will be here for 24 hours a day."
Thank you.
No problem.
So, what did Claude do good or well?
Took down all the information he can get from the client.
Okay.
And he held himself together with the customer.
Okay. He's able to empathize with the customer's state of emergency, calm them down.
I guess in a way he did follow what the customer asked him to do.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess he still elevate the issue to the supervisor in a way.
True. What could Claude do to improve?
He could, even though that the client was yelling and giving him a hard time, since he had already got all the information in the computer, he should have still you know, get the job done on the computer instead of bringing it, you know, to the supervisor. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he should have tried to diagnose the problem before bringing it to the supervisor.
Makes sense. What about how he presented the information to his manager?
Wait, say that one more time.
How was it, good or bad, the way he conveyed the information to the manager?
I would say it was bad because, again, he didn't follow the proper way to elevate the issue. So he should have still diagnosed it, you know, calmly talk to the customer, you know, at least bring the managers a solution with the laptop. And, you know, and still with the issue of the customer, but still bring a solution with the diagnosis and everything.
Gotcha.
Can you have a pity party with your manager?
Depends on the manager.
Yes, it depends.
Hmm. All right. It's pretty good. We're looking into it a little bit more, seeing it from a customer service perspective. I know this was a brief one, but any thoughts, questions, comments? No?